Falcons are actually relieved that he's kind of not there to create more of a distraction. Look, I mean, I said it the day it happened. It was one of the stupider decisions I've ever seen by a professional NFL franchise to sign a quarterback to a $180 million contract and then draft his replacement exactly 5 weeks later. This was a terrible organizational decision by the Falcons. Now, they're going to spin this, and this is what's annoying about the Falcons and their PR staff. They're going to spin this as if this is the plan we had all along. This is the plan that when, Kirk Cousins either got hurt or didn't play well or got too old, we were going to have Penix come in. And guess what? The new plan is now we're going to keep Kirk Cousins as a backup. So if Michael Penix gets hurt, we told you so. We were right for keeping him on the roster. We were smart for keeping him here. No, this whole thing has been an abject disaster.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Steelers' interest in Aaron Rodgers as a joke. Your boy went off about the entire situation and why it taken so long to forget him. Terry Bradshaw getting involved.
Yeah, insane. Basically, what are you bringing him in for 1 year? All of this drama for 1 year at this guy, where he is now in his career is he's washed.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome in to Game Time Decisions. We are live on SportsGrid. Kevin Walsh with you for night number 1 of the NBA Finals. The Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers, a 1-4 OKC supposed to be here. A minus money favorite to win the West before the playoffs began. The Indiana Pacers, not so much. 25-1 to start this season and 28-1 to start the playoffs. This wasn't a group that a lot of people saw coming, even when we had the full sample of 82 regular season games. Indiana, a dog in rounds 2 and 3, where they eliminated the team with the second most wins in basketball, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and then, of course, upset the New York Knicks for the second straight postseason. For Indiana, the challenge that awaits is seen as the toughest test yet. Minus 700 for Oklahoma City to win the finals. 5-1 on the Indiana Pacers. We're going to dive into this series. We're going to dive into game number 1, and we're going to give you bonus coverage here tonight. Coach James Young will join me at 8 o'clock as we go for an extra half hour right up until tip-off. All NBA Finals, JY's picks, my picks. We will re-rack and reset everything for you on what has become a bit of a busier Thursday than we had initially anticipated. The NFL, they want in on Christmas. They want Christmas to be theirs, and that's one offense. But the Aaron Rodgers news on day number 1 of the NBA Finals, not too happy about that. But we got to talk about it because Rodgers is now officially a Pittsburgh Steeler. And assuming he's good to go week number 1, he returns to MetLife where he will play the New York Jets. We will talk about that here on our show, as well as the fallout from Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals, a rematch between Edmonton and Florida that may end up with a more interesting Conn Smythe race this year than the one we had last year, where McDavid won it on the losing side. We will get to all of that. Of course, a Major League Baseball board you can certainly canvass. Do not forget that you've got some WNBA as well. We'll help you put a couple of picks on the board with the help of our team. I am going to go with Breanna Stewart over the 17.5 points against the Washington Mystics. Stewie in a clear and obvious bounce-back spot. 2 straight games under 20 points. I think she steps up in a big way here against the Mystics, who defensively likely will not have an answer for the Liberty. Going to the baseball slate, and there's some weather that's going to push back the start of the Pirates-Astros game, so you'll have extra time to get this one in. Casino Chris, Yankees-Astros, 2-step, moneyline parlay, that's plus 131. Max Fried gets the ball for the Yankees. Probably the biggest thing remaining on this slate is Fried looking to bounce back after a nightmare of a start, really, against the Dodgers, where he had 6 earned runs and gave up 2 home runs in that game. He'd only given up 3 all season prior to that start. And our guy Yarnell does go to the NBA Finals with Lou Dort at even money for 10 points. Don't mind the look towards Lou Dort. My best bet in game number 1 is going to be on an Oklahoma City Thunder as well. That's going to be Isaiah Hartenstein over 14.5 points plus rebounds. I am also on Miles Turner over 18.5 points plus rebounds. To some degree, that is where those 2 pieces are correlated. Okay, both at minus 118. I'll take a look into the market right now to see if there has been any movement on these numbers. I am seeing Miles up to minus 120. I am seeing Hartenstein down to minus 115, but still at those same prices needed to cash those tickets. Isaiah Hartenstein saw his minutes dip monstrously in the final 3 games against Minnesota. Less than 20 minutes played in every single one of those games. The only other game that had happened in the postseason was Game 7 against Denver, where he actually still put up 10 points and 7 rebounds. The blowout factoring in with the incredible Caruso effort cost Hartenstein his minutes in Game 7, and it's cost him minutes even in the series against Minnesota. But I think Game 1 can be different. I think you're going to get at least 20 minutes tonight from Isaiah Hartenstein, who I think in this series provides some questions for the Pacers' defense that could be a little bit difficult to answer. Now, not necessarily on Isaiah Hartenstein. My goal is to just have him out there, and then he will contribute. It's really a bet on his minutes. And with Hartenstein on the floor, you're either going to have Pascal Siakam or Miles Turner guarding him, and the other guarding Chet Holmgren. But most importantly, that means Pascal won't be matched up on J-Dub, and then J-Dub could be uber aggressive at attacking potentially hobbled Aaron Nesmith, or someone just much smaller than him, whether it's Nembhard or Halliburton or one of the bench players in Benedict Mathurin or Ben Shepherd for the Indiana Pacers. So I think Hartenstein changes the equation a little bit. Maybe the Pacers will look to attack Hartenstein some and play him off the floor. That's where Miles Turner can come into the equation here and get over the 18.5 points plus rebounds scoring the basketball. But I also think Miles Turner has to play regardless, because when you get to the small OKC lineup, let's call it SGA, Kassan Wallace, Lou Dort, J-Dub, and Chet, I think you're probably still going to want to have Miles and Pascal on the court to give yourself your best chance to cover that group. I think you're going to see a lot of Miles Turner as long as he stays out of foul trouble, and you will see some Thomas Bryant. Miles Turner also enters this series really in line for a bounce-back rebounding spot, and I think that helps the points plus rebound play. Now, the questions outside of game number 1, how many games are we going to get, and when this is all over, who's going to win? We know what the odds say. You know what the odds say. Tyrese Halliburton knows what the odds say.
And we know the odds are stacked against us, but, you know, it is what it is. We want to be here. We want to play against the best, and this is the best. So, we're looking forward to the challenge as a group.
And I think the ending there for Tyrese Halliburton as a group is an important thing to remember. Tyrese Halliburton's status in this league is going to be questioned at the end of every single one of these games. He'll have moments where he cracks into the easily top 10, maybe top 5. He'll have moments where he falls outside of some top 20s, depending on how the OKC team attacks him. But remember, this is a Pacers team that operates as a group, and they fly around as a group. What makes this series so tough for Indiana, the same is true for OKC. One of the rare spots where I don't know if the Pacers have the depth advantage. Can the Oklahoma City Thunder keep their identity in this series? Here's what SGA had to say about that.
Do you think it's going to be difficult to keep that sense of fun, even though you're now playing for the title? It's the finals. It's the big stage. How will you guys stay true to who you are in this huge environment?
Yeah, I don't think we have a choice. Staying true to who we are is the reason why we're here, and we'd be doing ourselves a disservice if we changed or tried to be something we're not. Once we got here, we've had success doing so, and if we want to keep having success, we have to be who we are. And it's organic, so it's nothing like we have to think about or force. It just is who we are.
That joyous OKC energy is who they are. The best defensive team in basketball as well. And it's why they win this series in 6 games. We'll talk more about it tonight here on SportsGrid.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all. Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Game Time Decisions is live on a Thursday night, and make no mistake about it, the NBA Finals has our attention, but we're humans. Our eyes can get diverted for a moment, and, well, a decision was made today that we all thought was coming, but it's now been finalized. Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler this coming season, and I think when it comes to situations like this, once it becomes final, once you really see Rodgers in the Steelers jersey, you start to, all right, this is real. What's this going to be? I mean, is Aaron Rodgers going to mess up the Mike Tomlin 500 or better every single year of his career record? Let's get the thoughts from Adam Kaplan, NFL insider. And Cap, I'm sure that you have known for a while that this was an inevitability. Is there anything you can tell us about the timing of this finally now being decided and announced?
Yeah. So basically, he'd asked for more time. Just to be clear, he never told the Steelers he was definitely going to sign with them. But every indication they got from him, from their discussions with him, remember, he visited them. They've kept in touch. They've talked to his agent, David Dunn. They knew what the situation was going to be. And Rodgers took his time. Now, the timing is interesting because, yes, he's missed their off-season program, save for the mandatory camp next week, which is 3 days. And you really want him there because, yes, he's worked with DK Metcalf, but the offensive linemen and the rest of the offensive players have to hear how he calls the play. How's he manage the huddle? What's the cadence when he calls the play? You need to know that. You'd rather him not just show up to training camp when you haven't worked with him. So they're going to get him for 3 days, and they'll go from there. So this had to happen, Kevin. We know that. They were not going to go with Mason Rudolph. That was not going to happen. Yes, he's their backup quarterback. Had they not gotten Rodgers, they would have added another veteran, one way or the other, most likely via trade. At some point, they were going to do that. Had Rodgers not signed with them, or we know he's going to be in there, that's a good thing. He elevates them. He is above Russell Wilson in several categories. Now, let's kind of talk about where Rodgers is. Rodgers, to his credit, he did not miss a game last season. He played in all 17 with the Jets, but I could tell you that he had 2 injuries, I'm told, that overlapped each other. Not the whole time, but they overlapped each other at a point. He had a hamstring strain and a knee sprain. I give the guy credit. I don't know how he did this. He was able to practice through it. It didn't look pretty. Somehow he had 20 passing touchdowns. 28's a lot for a guy who didn't look like he could move anymore. Mm-hmm. Kevin, he's 41 and a half years old. But the thing where he's got it way over Russell Wilson is he gets rid of the football faster. He still has that quick release. Yes, sometimes he'll scramble around, not get rid of it. But he's just an upgrade as a timing thrower, better than Russell Wilson.
So the question then becomes, what are the expectations in Pittsburgh? We know what the expectations are from the sports book. It's a win total that's, between 7.5, 8.5, right? It's a team that maybe if they pick up one extra win, they end up in the Mike Tomlin spot. Hey, everybody, we're a wild card team. Excited to watch us lose by double digits? It's been going on for a couple of years. Now, Cap, what are the expectations for Rodgers and the Steelers?
All right, so you mentioned the books out there giving them the win total. They're 8.5 wins. The over, believe it or not, is plus 100. So they clearly don't. The money's on them not to have a winning record. And that is, I double-checked as of an hour ago. That's after Rodgers agreed to his deal. The under is minus 120. This one I absolutely love. To be the third-place team, they're minus 135. They're obviously not going to win a division. The Ravens are, barring any catastrophic injuries, the Ravens are going to win it once again. The Bengals are picked by most books. They're the favorite to be the second team. The Steelers are minus 135. And how little chance do the Steelers have to even finish in second? They're plus 310, Kevin. So when you move this forward here, I would agree, Kevin. They're marginally better under Rodgers versus Russell Wilson. But the problem with Rodgers is you worry about the health. 2 years ago, the torn Achilles, wound up getting hurt in the first quarter of his first game, never returned, obviously. The rest of that season with the Jets. Last year, as I outlined, played with 2 different injuries. I give the guy credit. Body's breaking down, you worry about it. And Mason Rudolph, I'll tell you what, he did an excellent job 2 years ago when he had to fill in at quarterback for Kenny Pickett. But the bottom line is, Kevin, they're still shaky at the quarterback position. That's why the books haven't moved. No one's look, as you said at the top, you're absolutely right. We all expected this to happen. The books haven't moved yet. Now, in the next 48 hours, you might see a slight lean towards the over, 8.5. But right now, the over, you want to take the over. You want to take 9 wins for him to have a winning record. You're getting plus money.
Now, let me say I don't think we are going to at any point see the starting quarterback market usually see, Cap. I think we know it's going to be Rodgers over Mason Rudolph, but this is a market that, I don't know if people remember Minshew O'Connell in other places, real 50-50. Adam Kaplan told you it's been Minshew the whole time, and it was Minshew the whole time. Anthony Richardson in the news today, unfortunately, again, with an injury. Still a slight favorite to be the week 1 starter. Is your current read, Cap, I know we only have about a minute left, that Daniel Jones is going to start for this team in week number 1?
See, they didn't sign him to be the starter. They signed him to provide competition and insurance. But this worries me with Richardson's history of inaccuracy, and he's had some shoulder problems. Kevin, this does worry me a little bit here. He's a guy who's got to get his career back on track. They've just got it wrong with him, and he needs to grow up. That's the biggest issue. Chris Ballard, their general manager, has talked about it. He needed to mature a little bit. They think the light went on for him. They think he accepted responsibility after things kind of broke down with him last season. But this is not good. He needs the reps in the offseason. Now he's not going to get them. That's not a good sign.
Yeah, it is. It is really tough right now in Indianapolis. We were having just a water cooler conversation, if you will, Cap. Next 5 years, who's a fan you really wouldn't want to be? Indianapolis was a team tossed around. It just feels like a lot more questions than answers right now for that group. Season's going to be here before we know it, and of course, we'll get there with the help of Adam Kaplan. We're back with you talking NBA Finals on SportsGrid after this break.
Knicks really got past that playoff dragon for them that really stood in their way. So for the New York Knicks to be the Celtics and then an outright favorite to win the Eastern Conference Finals, that's where the disappointment is.
The goalposts got moved, right? Because when you went into the Celtics series, a lot of Knicks fans said they weren't going to be this. I'll say this is more unprecedented than the 99 run when they were the 8th seed.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. You could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid. We're back with you right here on SportsGrid. It is Game Time Decisions. Game number 1 action for me, points, rebounds on the centers. Isaiah Hartenstein is my favorite. That's at 14.5. I also really do like Miles Turner. That checks in at 18.5. I know books are out there throwing you parlays. I'm in the mix a little bit. I'll let you know what I like. I did put those two guys a little bit lower
with Pascal Siakam and Chet Holmgren over 18.5 points plus rebounds. That is an even money parlay. I know FanDuel usually says just get it to plus 100 or better. You can slap that boost on. So that is what I did, kind of just the lowest barrier of entry, if you will, for a little SGP action. And then I always enjoy the rebounds assist market. It's sometimes the idea is let's clip this once in a series, and that'll be good enough with a boost at plus 665. Real simple. Halliburton, SGA, and Jalen Williams all over their rebounds plus assist prop. Halliburton is at 13.5, SGA 12.5, and Jalen Williams 11.5. That is where I'm at for game one. I do have some action series long. Before I get into that, I want to go back to just what SGA was asked and what I thought was a really great question on the mindset for the Oklahoma City Thunder entering the NBA Finals.
Do you think it's going to be difficult to keep that sense of fun, even though you're now playing for the title? It's the finals. It's the big stage. How will you guys stay true to who you are in this huge environment?
Yeah, I don't think we have a choice. Staying true to who we are is the reason why we're here, and we'd be doing ourselves a disservice if we changed or tried to be something we're not. Once we got here, we've had success doing so, and if we want to keep having success, we have to be who we are, and it's organic, so it's nothing like we have to think about or force. It just is who we are.
It's such a fascinating question to me because OKC's exuberance. Occasionally you would see in the regular season almost attacked and picked on, or is this group taking it serious? And they now get here and they are these overwhelming favorites. But as you try, if you go through this series, even if you're on OKC, where are the cracks? Where are the flaws? Where can this go wrong? And it's interesting, but if you do see the upset, and it is the Indiana Pacers that win the Larry O'Brien, I wonder if that immaturity, and I don't know if I agree with it, but that label would get placed on OKC. I think it is certainly correct to just say they are at an experience disadvantage entering this series at one spot more than the rest, because Pascal being an NBA champion and Jalen Williams not doesn't mean that I would go into this series, and if I were OKC, I would want to swap the two, right? And you certainly wouldn't swap Pascal for SGA just because Pascal is an NBA champion. If you were OKC, though, would you swap Dagnall and Carlisle? Again, outwardly, they'd never say as much. But Carlisle is the better coach entering this series. It is the one spot I think you could reach a consensus. The Pacers have the edge. And that is a big edge. It's the edge that allowed Spoelstra to go on multiple runs with that Heat group. It's the edge that allowed this Indiana Pacers team not to be just here this year, but to be in the conference finals last year. I think Rick Carlisle right now is the best coach in the league. And I think that is enough to get you multiple wins. I don't think it's enough to overcome the disadvantage or the gap that there is in talent here and the excellence that OKC brings defensively. But I think it's enough to get him at least 2 wins. Many people, I think, are thinking OKC in 4 or 5. Maybe OKC in 5 or 6. I think it's OKC in 6 or 7. Give me OKC 4-2 as my favorite, but I'll take OKC 4-3 at plus 540. How about some long shot sizzles for offensive excellence, especially whenever the Thunder eventually win one of these games by 30 or 40? Record for a single game in the finals, 149, single quarter, 50-plus points. Those numbers have been dropping, by the way. OKC scored 149 in game number 2 against the Denver Nuggets. The Pacers have beaten a team every round by 30 or more at least once. If it happens again in the finals, which it probably will, maybe they put up $150. Let's see what Tom Vecchio thinks. We're live with you on a Thursday night.
the Knicks really got past that playoff dragon for them that really stood in their way. So for the New York Knicks to be the Celtics and then an outright favorite to win the Eastern Conference Finals, that's where the disappointment is.
The goalposts got moved, right? Because when you went into the Celtics series, a lot of Knicks fans said they weren't going to be this. I'll say this. This is more unprecedented than the 99 run when they were the 8th seed.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. Like, you can't really, you could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
Pacers, Thunder, Halliburton, SGA. I love it. I absolutely love it. And that's why we're here with you tonight up until 8:30. Coach will join us in an hour, and we'll go through all the lines, all the options, all of the storylines. But then I go, you know what? The BATR faithful might be, well, hold on a second. No Tom Vecchio, an hour out from tip? I said, we got to correct that. So we get Tom in the mix right here on this Thursday. Tom, appreciate it. We're not going to just talk NBA with Tom. I said it at the top, fascinated by the Conn Smythe. We'll get there. We'll talk a little Major League Baseball as well. We'll see if there's anything that's out there on the board. So, Tom, let's start with this. It's Thunder Pacers. OKC, I saw one publication had 32 people submit their prediction. 29 of the 32 went with OKC, and I didn't find that disrespectful. It was maybe 3 more that, quite frankly, that picked the Pacers than I was anticipating. What are you expecting for this series between these two teams?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I'll start off by saying that I said this on Monday to Ben and Donnie on the early line. I am on the series over 5.5 games. So that's what I am anticipating. A lot of people are saying, oh, OKC's going to roll this. It's going to be a quick series. I'm not really so sure that's going to be the case. The Pacers can score with them. That's one thing we know. They have the offense to keep up with anyone. So, when we have that high-scoring game, that is a lot of variance. And all it takes is 1 or 2 extra shots from the Pacers and 1 or 2 extra missed shots from the Thunder to put things in favor of the Pacers. So I like that perspective. I think they can score them. Ultimately, if I had to pick, I would say OKC 4-2. And I think people saying OKC 4-0 is they're kind of short-selling the Pacers, a team that has been remarkably consistent throughout the entirety of the playoffs. They can score, they can play defense, they have clutch moments. And you could say in all the clutch moments, they have gotten the coin to flip in their favor time and time again. And eventually that's going to fall on the other side. Well, it may fall on the other side at some point. But right now they're working with great coaching, great depth. They have good defense, not great defense, and they have a really good offense.
They have an incredible offense. They have the most consistent offense so far in this postseason. I was talking with some people before the show. They said, hey, what do you think side? What do you think total? I said, I lean Indiana. I lean over. I'd rather play a Pacer team total. I'm not playing any of those three options. I think personally, I will feel clear once this game is done, because there are certain things that I believe will absolutely happen in this series. I believe OKC will win one of these games by at least 25. I believe the Indiana Pacers will win, clearly multiple games in this series, but certainly at least one. I don't think there's any way that the Indiana Pacers are swept. And part of that, by the way, the Thunder not only did not sweep Minnesota, they lost the game by 42. They went 7 against Denver. And it is more than fair to say, if Ja Morant did not get injured, that Memphis was winning at least one of those games.
Yep.
Maybe both in Memphis, because OKC is currently sitting 0-7 against the number on the road in these playoffs. And that's relative, because if you cannot beat expectations, you are more vulnerable to lose those games. And I think that is all on the board in this series. Now, so you're going to play the over the 5.5. You lean that it would be OKC in 6. Have any of those breakdowns now started to translate into game 1 picks?
So we haven't gotten there yet, but I am really considering Pacers plus 10, and I want to find the middle. I want to see Pacers plus 10. They get out and score, and then we come back on the other side and grab OKC, -3, whatever it might be. What we saw in game 1 against Denver could be shades of that. OKC come out a little bit slow. If there's a chance for the Pacers, they got to punch them in the mouth early. And that means coming out strong in game 1 if they're going to have a shot, right? Because if they do lose, you're like, hey, they lost by 3-4 points. Man, that was a good performance from the Pacers. So they got to come out strong. They got to use the teachings that Minnesota and Denver showed. Like, hey, you have to be able to run with them. You have to be able to score, and you have to get timely stops, and that will put you in a spot to win. So I'm not saying I'm taking the Pacers on the money line, but give me a plus 10, the fact that it's moved from 9.5 to 10, and then OKC live. And yeah, I do lean the over 230. I think we're going to get some points, but as the series goes on, I'm not going to be surprised if we start seeing this total sub 220 once we get to that game 5 or 6.
Whoa. So
there's going to be a big market correction where we're going to see, let's call it 235, 238 tonight total. And then we're going to see a game end at 212. And now they're not going to go from 230 to down to 212. They'll go 230 down to 227. And then it's going to be 227, then it's going to be 223. And we'll end up at that 220 mark if we do get to that 6th game. Because ultimately, as much as I think the Pacers want to get out and run, I also think they really need to lock down on defense. Because you don't want to increase possessions and give SGA more chances, more bites at the apple. You want to take the ball away from him and Williams from operating effectively. So if you get a better defense and slow the game down, it has to be both. You can't just slow the game down and then have terrible defense and then SGA just scores. It has to be both.
So it's really interesting, because to me, if you're Indiana, pace is your identity, and welcoming the OKC half-court defense, I don't know if I love that. I've mentioned this a lot of times when it comes to the Indiana Pacers. 4 games only where they scored less than 112 points in this postseason, and it was much less than that. Against Milwaukee, 101, Cleveland, 104, and then twice against the Knicks, scoring 194. In the follow-up game, they've scored 129, 129, 130, and 125. So I think, and that's why I talk about that, if tonight's game, for example, is 118 to 95, OKC, right? I can tell you right now, the Pacers team total in game 2 is my best bet. I don't know if I need to do anything other than see if we've got some live sizzles for the people. So I think there will be game-to-game reactions, Tom. I don't know if we get consecutive unders, though, in this series.
I'm fine with that conversation, but a part of me thinks before I came on, you were talking about how Rick Carlisle is the better coach in the series, and he is the best coach in the NBA. So part of me, once, I don't want to be cliche, but it's the Thunder, that is, expect the Pacers to run. Sometimes you have to do what they're not expecting. You don't want to play into the Thunder's hands and be like, yeah, we're going to run. And at that point, if this turns into a shootout, who do you favor? if this game ends or any of the game ends, 128, 125, who do you keep favoring time and time again? You're probably going to keep favoring the Thunder. So you have to do what they're not expecting and be like, hey, we will actually try to grind it out against you. It's not going to be easy, but again, they have to have defense plus scoring efficiency.
Look, no one wants to give up 130 points, but what I would say to you, Tom, is those 4 low-scoring performances are the only 4 losses the Pacers have all postseason. I don't think they are winning any of these games 110-105. I don't think that's really on the board here in this series. Can I be wrong? Sure. Happens. We've seen it, all right? I mean, it's not, we try to keep it as infrequent as possible. But I think this is going to be overall a higher scoring series, which is why I played, again, opposite end of the spectrum, a team to score 149 in a game this series, a team to score 50 in a quarter in this series. I think we could hit some ceilings. Conn Smythe, next.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Yesterday, we did see the beginning of the Stanley Cup final, and I know I keep bringing it up saying we're going to talk Conn Smythe instead of we're going to talk Stanley Cup final. We can, but I'm just being honest with you. I am more interested in that award than who is going to win next game or the series. It's all correlated, of course. I want everyone to hear what Connor McDavid had to say at the end of game one, and then we'll start to open this market up a little bit.
Connor, the guy beside you now has 3 overtime goals in these in the postseason. Had some great defensive work in a couple of rounds too. How would you quantify, his postseason so far?
You can't put a number on it. He's invaluable. There's so many good things. Clutch, face-offs, you name it, he does it. Doesn't get enough respect or credit for his defensive abilities. When he's dug in, there's not many better, maybe nobody better.
It's incredible because he says maybe nobody better, and I'm sure some people would go, well, McDavid, you're better. Tom, you'd probably say that. Heck, Leon would say it, right? Here's my thing with the Conn Smythe Trophy. Entering into last night's game, McDavid was minus 105. Draisaitl was plus 800. We leave that game where Leon scores the opening goal and the game-winning overtime goal. And while, yes, his number grew shorter, down to plus 430, McDavid is up to minus 140. Now, he had to assist, he being Connor McDavid, so it is not as if he was uninvolved. But if you say, what's the better bet? Leon at 8-1 before the series, or Leon at, using the FanDuel number, plus 430, but the Oilers are up 1-0, and he scored the game-winning goal and 2 total goals in the first game. I think the latter sounds like the case. Where are you right now, Tom, on the Conn Smythe Trophy market?
If the Oilers win 99 times out of 100, McDavid's going to win. And the issue with this is that the Conn Smythe is not a finals MVP. It's not. It is a playoff MVP. And that's part of the issue where Draisaitl would legitimately have to have multiple goals, multiple game-winning goals, hat tricks, whatever you want to call it, and be the reason the Oilers win the Stanley Cup for me to buy into the conversation that he should win it. McDavid won the Conn Smythe last year in a losing effort. That's how good he was in the entirety of the playoffs. So when we look at the previous rounds, we're going to see McDavid putting up a mass amount of points against Vegas and against the in the first 2 rounds, and that is going to factor in. So if McDavid just goes point for point with him and he just has assists, and even though Draisaitl has the goals, McDavid's still going to win.
So I'm glad you said that. Let's take everyone back to last season. Connor McDavid at one point forced the books to hang odds. Would he break the single postseason points record? Finished with 42. Evan Bouchard finished with more points than Leon Draisaitl last year. 32-31. Here's my point. It wasn't close. McDavid was so incredible, he won it in a losing effort. They had to go 7 games and all of that, but there was no Leon case. So now we go to this year. Connor McDavid, 28 points. Leon Draisaitl, 27 points. It was a 1-point difference entering last night. Last year, we saw McDavid at a historic level. McDavid is, right now, going point for point with Leon Draisaitl. And I may be crazy. I think McDavid winning it last year helps Leon, not the other way around. Because to some degree, a voter might say, oh, well, I'm not going to not give McDavid the first time they win it. But then they go, I gave it to McDavid last year. Draisaitl's going to have to continue to produce. Here's the thing. He's been producing the whole way. And, Tom, if we had to stop the count, vote right now, would it be McDavid or Draisaitl? I think it's a complete toss-up.
If we had to stop right now, the odds would be far closer than the minus 140 to plus 430 as they suggest right now. And obviously, compared to what we saw last night, an 8-1 number for Draisaitl. And this is kind of like, I don't want to build too much of a comparison, but it's similar to the Jaylen Brown winning. He won Eastern Conference Finals last year.
Can I give you another comparison, Tom? Because I know where you're going. Because with because listen, I'll do this so you don't have to. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum don't deserve to be compared to Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid. The comparison is Kevin Durant and Steph Curry when they were on Golden State.
Okay,
Two of the comfortably 5 best players in the league at the time on the same team.
But I'm saying from an awards perspective, when Brown won the Eastern Conference Finals MVP, it's because he had those highlight moments. He had that corner three. He had like clutch moments. So if you like going into it, if you were going to bet someone, obviously Tatum was the odds-on favorite. But if you're going to bet Brown, you'd be like, he'd have to do something crazy in order to win it, which is what he did. But and it's the same thing with Draisaitl, was the point I'm making. Like, he has to have multiple game-winning goals. Like, Draisaitl's the reason that they won, therefore we're going to give it to him. It's the kind of roundabout thing I'm saying. I guess what I'm trying to say is, despite that it was Steph's team, Steph's group, Durant was just better than him the entire time they were on the same team. And in these playoffs, has Leon been better than McDavid? He's got the higher plus-minus. He's behind him by 1 point, and he's scoring more than McDavid is. And I think anybody would... I mean, listen, I'm not trying to be a pest, but, like, it's harder to score than it is to assist. I think Leon's had the better postseason so far. And now he just scored 2 goals. He's had 2 goals in the opening game. And my thing is, in this moment, Tom, who do you think wins the cup? Oilers in 6 or 7.
I'm getting plus 430 then on Leon Draisaitl. I am very, very interested. We'll talk a little baseball with Tom next here on Game Time Decisions.
Knicks really got past that playoff dragon for them that really stood in their way. So for the New York Knicks to be the Celtics and then an outright favorite to win the Eastern Conference Finals, that's where the disappointment is.
The goalposts got moved, right? Because when you went into the Celtics series, a lot of Knicks fans said they weren't going to beat it. I'll say this is more unprecedented than the 99 run when they were the 8th seed.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. Like, you could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to Game Time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
Live right here, Game Time Decisions on the night of the NBA Finals. We'll talk more NBA Finals. We have Coach coming in at 8 o'clock. Going to give you guys a bonus 30 minutes here to break down all the angles and options heading into that one. We've got Tom Vecchio here. We've talked finals. We've talked Stanley Cup final as well. Conn Smythe. I do want to get Tom's thoughts quickly on some of the baseball options. Of course, Pro Baseball Today, Tom and Donnie every Sunday morning covering the full slate and any of the big news that you hear around the sport. Tom, I know we've only got 2 games that haven't started yet, but is there any baseball action that you have currently out or tracking?
Nothing under. Actually, I have the Cubs money line. Jumped on that earlier. Again,
Okay.
I just buy into good teams not losing multiple games in a row. It was a great performance from Gore yesterday for the Nats, but the Cubs are the better team, and PCA's already got a homer.
What are your thoughts on Jack Caglione? Big, obviously, hype coming up to the bigs. Number for AL Rookie of the Year, moves a ton just because he makes the roster. Gets his first RBI today in game number 1 of that doubleheader. Where are you at on the Kansas City Royals and specifically Cags?
So I'm super interested in Cags. He was drafted in my Dynasty League. I wasn't able to get him, so someone's had him since March. So I think taking the 11-1 number is interesting. I would want to double check what their, frankly, I would rather play Cags at 11-1 than the Royals to make the playoffs at plus 138, because if he has a monster season, he's going to be they need power. They're one of the bottom 8, bottom 9, whatever it is when it comes to slugging, home runs, all these sorts of things. So him powering the lineup or being a part of that power would put them in a spot to make the playoffs, and that would be better than a plus 138. So that's kind of the way that I would approach it.
I am interested in this Royals group as a whole. Cole Reagans comes back tonight for this team, and Reagans had a 3-game stretch early on. So his opening game of the season got hit a little bit by Cleveland. The next 3 games, double-digit strikeouts in every single one of them. Yeah. And at the time, the ERA was down to a 2.28. Little rocky after that. In the next 5 starts, he gave up at least 4 earned runs in 4 of those starts. We've now not seen him in almost a month. I'll admit, I don't know if, look, sometimes in baseball when a guy struggles, all right, let's grab you a couple of days with your, something's hurting. Maybe the Reagan stuff was a little bit more concerning, and maybe it explained why he was getting hit up. What do you make of Cole Reagans, who feels like one of the most important pieces of this Royals team if they are going to be back in the postseason and be a legitimate group here?
Yeah, so Reagans is awesome. He's on my Dynasty team, so I have desperately missed him. The hamstring issue was a problem. Power is generating power on the mound to then deliver accurate pitches is always important. So I'm cautiously optimistic that he'll be back, but he is the key piece that they need because, they have great stuff with Chris Bubic. Lugo's okay. They have okay pitching when it's all said and done, but they had good pitching last year and great hitting. Now they have good pitching because Bubic has an improved year, but now they have bad hitting. So if they don't have that consistent thing with Reagans being back as their ace, it presents a lot of difficulties for them in a very, very tough AL Central.
The thing with Reagans is last year, I was hard on him in part because, I mentioned again behind the scenes, they're big baseball guys. They hype up Cole Reagans. I'm like, he's not as good as Seth Lugo. And look, for a large part of last season, he was not as good as Seth Lugo. The thing is, Reagan's not being as good as Chris Bubic is something that, Lugo is never going to long-term be better than Reagans.
No.
Bubic is the same age as Cole Reagans, and is also right now, if the season ended today, probably the American League Cy Young. Lugo, while he was having a great stretch, I don't know if we ever felt like that. Tom, you're making a face. You're telling me right now you're going to go and vote for Tariq Skubal over Chris Bubic, despite the fact that his ERA is double?
Yeah.
Why?
Because everything Skubal does is better than Bubic, and ERA is a terrible stat, is the short answer.
I feel as if anything that you are alluding to, which may be a expected ERA, right? At the end of the day, if the season ended today, you have to go off of, if we're giving out a batting title, it cannot be xFIP as opposed to, or expected batting average over actual batting average. He's pitching to a 1.43 ERA.
Yeah, but the strikeouts for Skubal are there, and the big highlight performance of double-digit strikeouts are eye-popping.
Why would it matter how you get the guy out if it's a 1.43 ERA? That's nuts.
The Knicks really got past that playoff dragon for them that really stood in their way. So for the New York Knicks to be the Celtics and then an outright favorite to win the Eastern Conference Finals, that's where the disappointment is.
The goalposts got moved, right? Because when you went into the Celtics series, a lot of Knicks fans said they weren't going to beat it. I'll say this is more unprecedented than the 99 run when they were the 8 seed.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. Like, you could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
We're live right here on Game Time Decisions, and luckily our bonus 30 minutes of NBA coverage has opened the door for me to give a little bit of an additional breakdown to the American League Cy Young race, which involves Tom Vecchio, because he said something that, listen, I'll tell you right now, I've not heard before, which is that ERA is a useless stat. That is truly brand new to me. And I want to make this very clear, just in terms of the beginning point of this conversation. When the season is over, I do not think Chris Bubic will win Cy Young. If the season was over today, he would very comfortably get my vote. You're saying you would go with Tariq Skubal. Now that we have a little bit of more space here, tell me why the guy who is currently 8th in ERA in the American League would get your vote.
So this comes down to a lot of things, and it starts with voters. And this is what this is about, because this is a vote-driven award. And what voters value is that they do not value. We've gotten to a point in MLB where voters do not value ERA, and they do not value wins and losses. This is just a fact. Like Jacob deGrom having a horrible record when he was with the Mets, it's because he's dominant. Having losses doesn't matter because he's a dominant pitcher. So
losses don't matter, but Tariq Skubal comfortably, by a lot, led the American League in ERA last year.
I understand that, but so in ERA and loss, I'm saying all these things don't matter. The only things that matter are what the voters value. So when we actually look at the pitchers and say, okay, they have the exact same amount of innings pitched this year at 75.1 and 75.2. When we look at Skubal, he has a 34.7% strikeout rate and a 2.5% walk rate, which is unbelievable. Now, Bubic has a 7.5% walk rate and a 26.9% strikeout rate. So Bubic is not touching what Skubal does when it comes to strikeouts in the exact same amount of innings pitched. He's not touching him with run prevention, not allowing hitters on base for free, suppressing runs. So just because his ERA happens to be a touch higher, when you actually look at the underlying metrics of a pitcher and say, oh, the underlying metrics don't matter, ERA is this guy's ERA is higher, the voters don't care about ERA. We've gotten to the level that they value other things. So they can say, you know what? Skubal did give up some runs, but you know what he has been dominant at? He's been dominant at everything else.
Unfortunately, I popped my headset out in the very, very final seconds of that breakdown. I will admit that. But wins and losses don't matter. Handshake, we agree. Okay? The last 5 American League Cy Youngs, because we are, in essence, somewhat doing this on the fly, all led the American League in ERA. Now, Skubal, Cole, Verlander, Ray, Bieber also can rack up strikeouts. It's a shame because I am aware we are having a conversation that when the season is over, we won't be able to, because Chris Bubic is not going to finish the season with a 1.5 ERA. I will put it to the people. Would you say, Tom, that in your perception of this award now, if these guys keep their current pace, so Skubal pitches to a, let's call it 2.3 ERA, but comfortably leads the American League in strikeouts, and Bubic pitches to, let's call it a 1.5 ERA, but does not finish inside the top 5 in strikeouts, you believe Skubal would win the American League Cy Young?
Yeah, Bubic would be a finalist, but Skubal would still win it. Like, again, it wouldn't matter the wins. It wouldn't matter, those things. But then we could look at other things. Like, it just wouldn't come down to just strikeouts and just ERA. Like, there would be other things factor in, is my point. And Skubal consistently does those things better compared to Bubic when the home runs are roughly equal, when Skubal's at 0.71 and Bubic is at 0.36. But again, at the end of the season, Skubal could be better. Bubic could be worse. So we can't just look at just strikeouts and just ERA and just wins. The plethora of stats that we have to support the pitcher will go into it, and time again, Skubal comes out ahead.
So listen, I'm going to say this, okay? When it comes to winning Cy Young, I think the 2 most important statistics are ERA and strikeouts. I think ERA matters more. I think they're top 2. Do you think that in terms of how you evaluate it or the voters evaluate it, that ERA is not one of the top 2 most important things? And then in what would be, I don't think wins matter at all. We don't have to keep mentioning that. It doesn't matter. But ERA, I would, and listen, I'm going to, you know me, I'm going to ask around. I've never heard the dismissal of ERA. I've never heard it.
I don't want to be like too gatekeepy, but ERA and batting average are horrible stats. And like my, God's honest point would be people who reference batting average and ERA don't know anything about baseball.
So I think so I want to say this, right? I want this to be clear because you are a guy who is on Baseball Savant and bets baseball through WOBA and hard hit rate. And I'm aware all of those numbers exist. I don't use all of those numbers in my day-to-day breakdowns of Major League Baseball. I think you specifically would be stunned at what percentage of the baseball award voter pool is not on Baseball Savant. Let's be real clear about that. I think that voter pool is probably closer to my read, if not further the other way. Like, I do not think the percentage of the voter pool that cares about wins in terms of Cy Young is 0. You care about it 0%.
Right.
I don't think the voter pool does.
I mean, at a certain point, this is semantics. Like, we
no,
can
it's
look
not.
at.
We're breaking down the Cy Young Award, right? And again, I'm very comfortable. You know more about the statistics around these pitchers, but again, I will tell you this flatly, Tom. If you think the voter pool cares about ERA outside, finds ERA meaningless, you are more lost on this situation than you would be very surprised.
So what do you think about WAR? because that's the next question, because that's the next stat that's referenced by voters. And Jeff Passan tweets about it all the time about WAR, because despite Bubic having a better ERA right now, he's allowed literally fewer runs. He has a lower WAR compared to Skubal.
Now, it all depends, though, because, here's the thing.
Bubic, so Skubal, who allows more runs, is technically more valuable to the team compared to Bubic, who allows fewer.
If you use whichever WAR, one's B WAR, one's F WAR, right? Are you using F WAR?
I'm using regular WAR on Fangraphs.
Fangraphs. No. I got you. I believe that's F WAR. I believe B WAR is over on Baseball Reference, where Bubic is a 3.5. No other pitcher in the American League is a 3, and Skubal's fifth at a 2.6. I tell you right now, I'm real confident when it comes to the wins above replacement. That's my lane. I'll tell you that. Now you stepped into my lane.
So don't bet Skubal, bet Bubic at 22-1 right now.
First of all, I would. Second of all, so would you, since you told people Judge was a bad bet at even money, minus 200,000. But I'm just telling you that as far as when it comes to wins above replacement, depending on your site, one will say Tariq and the other will say Bubic by a lot.
There's metrics on both to prove that Skubal will ultimately come out ahead. I will die on this hill.
I again agree that Skubal is more likely to win it than Chris Bubic. What I don't agree with, which is why we did a whole extra segment on this, is you said ERA is meaningless. You said, not me. I didn't say WAR was meaningless.
I can't get into that right now. But ERA, batting average, garbage stats.
We'll leave it up to the people to decide. Tom, we appreciate you making some extra time here on a opening night of the NBA Finals. We get back to the hoops next on SportsGrid.
Knicks really got past that playoff dragon for them that really stood in their way. So for the New York Knicks to be the Celtics and then an outright favorite to win the Eastern Conference Finals, that's where the disappointment is.
The goalposts got moved, right? Because when you went into the Celtics series, a lot of Knicks fans said they weren't going to be this. I'll say this is more unprecedented than the 99 run when they were the 8th seed.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. Like, you could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
Game Time Decisions live on a Thursday night. And you might say, listen, okay, Dubs, it's the NBA Finals. what are we doing with all the baseball? I say, one, I'm a man of the people. I give the people what they want. I would say, two, got to warm me up a little bit. We need some intensity going into the finals. And we found it, apparently, in the Tariq Skubal Chris Bubich debate you didn't know you needed, but you ended up being delivered on a Thursday. Let's get back to the basketball. With Dave Sharapan. No, Consig, it's great to see you, pal, but I got a strict mandate that we got to talk some hoops. So I just want to know this.
Man.
We go back.
Yeah.
Boston minus 750 at open, up to minus 900.
Mm-hmm.
You said, well, they probably left it a little light and actually took bets.
Mm-hmm.
OKC around minus 750 at open. We're down to minus 700 in some spots.
Mm-hmm.
Does it feel, what is your read on how they are pricing just the series price for the NBA Finals?
So, one, great to see you. Two, I'm with you. They vote on ERA still. It happens. It's inevitable. I've had this discussion with Vecchio for months. I mean, I don't know. WUBA, war, this, that, F war, B war, who knows? Everybody's talking about it. I don't know if anybody actually uses it to vote. This price, the future position for the OKC Thunder for a lot of books is very favorable. So the series price is priced at a number that says, just put it up there. Make sure they don't lay it. We're good. See if they do, we'll jump it right up like we did with the Celtics number. They did not. It's been nothing but Pacers money, nibbles here, there. Now, the price that some people got on the futures on the Pacers was 125 to 1 to win it all. So taking 5 to 1's immaterial for a lot of people at this point. The big prices. So I think the series price is priced perfectly because if they win tonight as big favorites, which it looks like they're supposed to do outright, this price almost doubles. Goes from minus 7 to minus, I don't know, 1,200 is probably what it's going to go to, maybe minus 1,000. So 10 to 1 or 12 to 1, somewhere in that neighborhood. So again, if you think they're going to win tonight, you want to take a shot in the series, maybe take that, win the first game and win the series, a little bit less expensive, something like that, K-Dub. But I don't know. The content space sure seems like it's on the Pacers tonight.
Yeah, I think what's interesting is, and it's a perfect breakdown by you. This go around, they put OKC at a price where it was like, it's a little too far. The Pacers have earned, I think, that respect that you can flash 550 in front of faces and go, nah, you went too far. Even if I don't know if I have a winning ticket, it's just we zoomed a little. And I would agree. We've talked about this on the Thunder. You see their numbers, you go, I get it. You're not giving me a chance, right? Like, I love... Dave, what's the number where if I called you, I said, hey, by the way, I'm doing it, SGA Finals MVP, it's the best bet. And you go, K-Dub, good bet. Because right now it's minus 550, and I don't feel like it's a good bet. What would be the number where you'd go, no, I think you made the right decision?
Between 3 and 4 to 1.
I was just thinking minus 350.
I mean, it's we've done the show enough times, and we've talked a lot. It's I mean, it's like dancing. Sometimes you and I, when we get together and do this, it's a privilege and a pleasure for me. I enjoy this spot every day. Yeah, if you laid anywhere between minus 3 and up to minus 4, I think you'd be good. Now his numbers are propped up tonight. Like his prop numbers, K-Dub, are really, really. Like, you want to talk about that tax? There's an SGA tax tonight for OKC. I mean, it's expensive, it's high, and I'm not saying he doesn't get there. But my goodness, it's just like if you're betting on the Pacers series price tonight, you have to believe they're going to win. You have to, because the price is going to be way better tomorrow. if you think the Thunder are going to win and it's going to be because of SGA, you have to understand you're paying extra.
Yeah, I think it's, again, last 2 games against Minnesota, 40 on the road and then 34 points in 34 minutes in the closeout game. And that's probably what's not leading a lot of people to the window. It's the 2 regular season games against the Pacers. The first go around, he gave them, I believe it was 45 points. And then the second go around struggled and gave him, I think, 33, give or take on those numbers. So, that's why a finals MVP number would be interesting. I think you look at a game like this tonight, and I've said this, and I think you would agree, Dave. I think this is a series, personally, I think I'm going to have a very good read on after tonight. Tonight, I think it's all open. I think it's all open. I think it's OKC by 20. I think it's Indiana outright. I think it's Thunder win, but Pacers covered. I don't have a great read. Lean Pacers, lean over. I think game 2, it's like, yeah, come on. We know what's happening here. That's how I feel entering this series.
Very similar to what I think we saw yesterday with the Stanley Cup, right? I have a better feel for the games now that I've seen it again. And I mean, what a great game that was. It was a great hockey game, period. Win or lose, a bet on a side. Whoever had the total over, nice job. But I think we see we're going to get that type of game more often than not when these 2 teams match up. The total is intriguing, K-Dub. We haven't had an NBA total up this high for, a little bit of time. And everybody's talking about OKC's defense. You talk about the Pacers team total a lot. Pacers team total under tonight and then over in game 2? Is that what are we doing?
Like Dave said, we've been doing this show a lot. I basically told people if it goes under tonight, I'll meet you at the window on Sunday. You already have the best bet tickets written before it even happens. Best bets, crystal ball questions, all next. Game time decisions.
Knicks really got past that playoff dragon for them that really stood in their way. So for the New York Knicks to be the Celtics and then an outright favorite to win the Eastern Conference Finals, that's where the disappointment is.
The goalposts got moved, right? Because when you went into the Celtics series, a lot of Knicks fans said they weren't going to be this. I'll say this. This is more unprecedented than the 99 run when they were the 8th seed.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. You could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
Game time decisions. Here's the story. Crystal ball time. The boys like doing this on a Thursday. Last week, listen, you want behind the curtain, blamed by me, but still, I was a little blindsided. We did stars 15-1 to win the cup. All right. You know what? That's on me. I got you this go around. Plus 750 Kiki Arifan win a WNBA Rookie of the Year. That's one of those free bet peppers, right? When you lose your no sweat NBA tonight, you know you're losing it. Come on. What were you doing putting Halliburton for 30 in that parlay? All right. So when you lose that tonight, you just wrap that around on Kiki Arifan. You start to build that position up, okay? Paige Beckers is vulnerable in that market. Sam Yardnell, Scotty Scheffler to win 2 or more majors in 2025, plus 110.
Wow.
This is a DoorDash bet. You're probably paying a little extra for the delivery. Like, if you probably went out and bet each one of these individually, you'd be doing better for yourself. But you know what? I'll pay the delivery. Taco Bell, come to my house. I'll see you later tonight. You think I'm not getting Taco Bell on a Thursday? NBA Finals, Liv Moss. Koski, Jets money line, put it on the record as Rodgers signs with the Steelers, plus 126.
Whoa.
Now, I'm just saying this. Is my seat as the most unbiased man in the history of sports media hot? No. But do I like the look from Chris? Yes. Consig, thoughts on those crystal balls?
Crystal balls. I mean, this is, I didn't even know. I don't even know who that WNBA Rookie of the Year person is. So nice.
She was
call
on
there.
USC.
Okay. Well, thank you for that information. Yarnell talking about golf. Impressive. All right. I'll take that.
All right.
Scheffler looks like he's going to win one of the next 2. So, that's probably not a bad bet. He's going to be in it for sure. You're going to get a sweat. But it's nighttime in Pittsburgh behind me. I've been coming on here every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday most times, sometimes even with Ranieri on Wednesdays and Fridays. And I've been asking you when the Steelers were going to have a quarterback.
Right.
And we kind of, had a running bit that said, I don't know. I don't know when. But they obviously knew. Rodgers is coming to Pittsburgh. They're 3-point favorites on the road at the Jets. I mean, Koski's going with money line today. I mean, Chris, you can wait. You might be able to get more. I feel like this was a personal shot. I mean, it's sitting at 3.
So Dave, here's my question to you.
Yes.
I think you'll agree. Jets money line, not sure. Jets plus 3. I'm starting to speak your language.
Yeah, I am too. Yeah.
Teaser? Hold on. We're getting 9? Oh. We're getting 9 on a 6-pointer? Who's the other week 1 teaser team jumps off the card right away? You know who it is? You know who it is? Ready?
Who?
Most
Seattle at home.
Unbiased man. Dallas up to 12.5. Come on, it's great. Come on.
Starting that thing off on Thursday?
Yeah. Listen, we'll see you Thursday, and then it's just all Jets Sunday. Whoa.
Key it to Sunday? Look at you. Already working. I love it.
That's not
Interesting
bad.
signing. The Steelers are still minus 210, to not make the playoffs.
Right.
The season win total wasn't adjusted at all. Nothing happened today. That's the thing. These signings happen. The NBA offseason is incredible. The NFL offseason, just almost as good. That didn't move numbers. So everybody calm down. Calm down. The Steelers are still the 3rd best team in the division. I still don't think they're going to make the playoffs. KW, you think they're going to make the playoffs now?
No. Not right now.
All right.
I mean,
that's fine.
Now, here's the thing. Could I sing a different song when we get to September?
Preseason? Yeah. He starts zipping passes all over. Maybe.
Maybe.
No?
Maybe. Like, if I just think about, hold on a second. Let me put myself there. Let me put myself there.
Get there.
All right. Hold on a second
move.
now. And I'm thinking, hold on. First year Rodgers with the Jets, there was excitement. There was negativity.
Boy.
There was excitement.
It ended
Injury.
fast.
Okay. Then we get to year number 2, and everyone's like, come on. But then all of a sudden the market started to move. And I think actually the team's pretty sweet. And then it went bad.
Bad.
If we avoid the optimism this time and then think it's the Steelers instead of the Jets, and now we might have an avenue to walk down. There's a lane. There's some wiggle room. I'm just saying I could.
PA Super Bowl? Can we get a PA Super Bowl finally? Eagles Steelers? Send them off with the winner? get to the Super Bowl, lose to the Eagles. But I mean,
I'll give you this take. If the Eagles play the Steelers in the Super Bowl, I don't feel as confident as I did this year when they smoked the Kansas City Chiefs. NBA Finals Special 30 up next with Coach here.